All right, now we're going to experiment with rubbing with the oil pastels instead of the crayons. So hopefully you have some oil pastels at your house. You're going to put down your printing plate, and then you're going to just have some fun. So pick some colors. You know, I'm drawn to doing it green because that's super realistic, but I think I'm going to go crazy. And I'm going to embrace some crazy colors, and I'm going to use the red. Now, oil pastels are powerful. They're a little bit greasier than those crayons. So they make a bold impression, which is why they're actually one of my favorite art materials. But we want to be a little bit more cautious when we're rubbing, that we don't just rub off the side of the plate here. Okay, so you kind of have to be more mindful when you're establishing your rectangle or your boundaries. And because oil pastels are so vibrant and awesome, they are really fun for this. Okay, so now I can move this out of the way. I can go back in and I can draw in some of those details that I missed. So maybe I'm going to go do that with a kind of just slightly analogous color. It's like a red violet off to the side of the red. So it's close, but not so much, so it gives it a little bit more interest. And then maybe I'll give it a little ground line. With a little texture. And then I'm gonna go and get my paints, and this is where the fun is. I'm gonna add some warmth to this crazy fire sky with a little bit of warm yellow. Now, you are going to take your time and you are going to do a beautiful job at this, but I'm just showing you how now I can go in, and then maybe I'll add a different tone. Maybe I'll make the foreground blue, I don't know. But I don't, look at that, that's a resist. Oil pastel, I love you. Look at this resist. Do you see how that greasy oil pastel is resisting the paint? It's like I paid it to teach you about resist. That is so gorgeous. I wish you could feel the difference. When you do it, you're gonna feel the difference and see almost like a crackling of where the color goes and where it won't go. It's like, no, I won't go there. Well, that's super exciting, I think. In my life, in my artistic world, that is exciting. And you'll go in and you keep working in all your colors and all, but at this point, I want you to try using oil pastels for rubbings with some watercolor. And then you'll pick your favorite one, okay? Let me show you some variations on that. Here I did oil pastel and black crayon rubbing, and then I went in and I drew more after I painted with some oil pastels. Here I wanted to show you some accidents, okay? So I had an accident, an oil spill. The paint broke the side of the triangle. So what I did was I exaggerated it. I made it bigger. It just broke a little bit here, so I exaggerated and made it bigger, and I turned it into part of the composition, and then I took my oil pastels and I just drew some contrasting colors on there. But it's important that I show you mistakes, because you're going to have mistakes and you're just going to throw those out, all right? I'm certainly not perfect. On this one, we had a bleed out. My children were involved in this, but regardless, it started to bleed and they touched it. So sometimes things just go wrong. Throw that one out, or try and make it into a happy accident like I did with that. Here's some more examples. Here's blue oil pastel with some watercolor. Here's neutral colors with the black oil pastel. And then here's a white oil pastel with watercolor, and I went in and I worked on that with some crayon. So I want you to now take your plates and rub with oil pastels and use all the different media. Try it for all 3 of these plates, and then you'll pick your favorites to submit, okay? Have some fun. Bring in whatever materials you have or whatever you love and follow your heart and have some fun. Thanks.